Diversification wasn't a choice, it was a necessity. And I don't believe that anybody that just, this is my belief, that anybody just prints will survive. Yep. If you can add finishing techniques, then you can add a whole plethora of product. In a nutshell, I believe that there is no such thing as print. I believe that print and manufacture should sit hand in hand. And I'm in it purely for the journey, but also working with people who have the same mind. So I'm very passionate about what I do, about print and about manufacture. We are very excited to engage with our client. We used to term ourselves as resin badges, then digital print and digital manufacture. Now we're saying we don't produce everything, we can produce anything. Duplo are very clever in their strategy. They sent me an array of samples and the samples kept coming. I began putting the samples out to my client base and the responses I had were, are you actually manufacturing this now? So I would visit the Duplo showrooms, speak to the Duplo staff, personnel, engage with them to see what opportunities are there. There are machines sitting there in a corner which can basically add a vast amount percentage to your turnover and a vast amount to your capability. And it's only a phone call, it's only a visit to the showroom. I was enlightened by the showroom. I'm going to make my third visit very, very shortly to see what else is out there, what else I can build on. And I thoroughly believe that. And I'm already experiencing new products and new values. My staff are so enthused and so excited to come to work, arriving work early, leaving work late, being involved in the development of the product. So I believe that product development is a big part of manufacture, and you're developing product whilst you're manufacturing. And again, that sits in with bringing in new technologies. So diversity is key for survival in today's age, I believe.
DecTek is, or can be, the manufacturing back end for a creative business. So most creative businesses operate in isolation. They struggle to understand the print process and why it's not their thing, so they wouldn't necessarily fully understand that part. But that's where we come in. So we can take the concept and the idea that they've developed for their client, we can develop it into a real world product, and then they can go and pitch it to their client. And we sort of work on the principle that, you know, everybody can do the me too, but not many people can do the me only. And the me only is the thing that's going to win you the contract. We're quite disruptive as a business, and the way that we think about things is perhaps a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit different.
It all started when I was a child, very, very interested in artworks, design. Always wanted to make an extra buck, so started producing artworks and murals on walls for people. Knew that I had a talent for that. My father identified that I was driven in that area, but he decided to put me into engineering. So he thought that it would be a good background, a good sound investment for my future. I brought engineering into print, so I looked at the opportunity with print. If you manufacture something, then you have far more capabilities. Within print, it's just a linear product, it's a one-dimensional product. So I brought in the engineering components to that. Equipment was restrictive in the beginning, so it became more hands-on. But we looked for more of an automated value, and that grew very, very quickly. I think when we initially started, we were employing staff at a rate of one additional every 6 to 8 weeks. But I'm very, very inspired. I'm very much a people's person, but I very much see opportunities that other people don't see. So we look for an opportunity where the finishing comes in and the routing and cutting. So we brought in a cutting table that routed plastic backs and name badges, but then it could also route cardboard, metal, all other products. So then we basically began to enlighten our customer base with our other product opportunities and our other processes, and that just basically ignited and grew. We got a great amount of work from referrals, customers that were basically very pleased with what we were able to produce. From that I realised then that the opportunity is not just in print, it's in finishing, and the whole world of finishing became apparent to me. And finishing is quite simplistic in the digital age because it's not so much a piece of equipment, it's another layer in Adobe. We realised that if we start to work more collaborative with our partners, with our competitors, with our suppliers, and closer with our customer base, then we could grow our whole range of product. Hence Big Bang was born, Big Bang Print. That now is able to supply a wide variety of product in all things plastic, metal, card, acrylics. And then we saw a sweet spot within the industry that we would need to supply low volume but very fast turnaround. But then we looked at what else could we do with that. So we looked at the embellishment side of it and then discovered our partners within that. Partners such as Duplo, which offered an expansive range of finishing product. I was invited into their showrooms. I was like a kid in the sweet shop, and I come out quite full. So I spent a lot of money on equipment, and I went away thinking how I can get other parts of those components and equipment in. Currently I think I'm importing a machine in every 4 to 6 weeks, and those machines are also adding to our variety on our platform. So the Big Bang, a little bit like the universe, is ever expanding. In a nutshell, it's brand enhancement. So everybody, such as myself, is passionate about their brand. But if we can portray that brand in a way that raises it above another brand, then it's a worthwhile investment for them. Because once they see the product, they can see the capability and they can see the power of their own brand. So they know quickly and efficiently they can have samples within 48 hours in front of them. And you know, once you engage in the sale, if you strike when it's still hot, if you strike when the passion is still there, then they will engage. And so that's what we've built, a separate floor just for the what we call the Duplo event, basically the finishing event. And that is now key to what we do, is sampling. So not only get the sample in front of the client, but the sample, the client engaging in the sample construction, and they get the whole emotion of the product. So they have an empathic view of the processes that go into creating their brand.
So for us, I think it's going to be specialising in certain markets as we go along. So at the moment there's a lot of products we can offer, but as we move forward, we'll look to specialise in certain areas. So we'll look at cosmetics, we'll look at, let's say, weddings, we'll look at perhaps programs. You know, we've been lucky enough to do the Football Association of Wales programs recently. So yeah, just specialising in certain markets, I think, for us is the way we're going to move forward. But the biggest thing for us was to work in partnership with somebody. We really felt straight from the start with Duplo that they were a company that was willing to work with us, help us develop, because a lot of the work that we're doing at the moment is R&D. So they would help us, they would support us. In fact, Jason, who we've got to know really well, has come up with us on some days, supported us with the R&D. Also Neil with the engineering side, has spent a lot of time with our staff training, giving us tips of how to work. So the biggest thing for us was the working in partnership. And also what we've recognised is that the Duplo machines, really simple to use, and they're all set up, the interfaces, all the machines are set up very similarly. So you have a bit of training on one machine, you can go over to another machine and recognise it very, very quickly. It's almost plug and play. I mean, I'm a sales guy, but I've overlooked a lot of the training, and all of a sudden I find that I can run these machines as well. So it's nice and simple, nice and intuitive.
The first engagement was that the relationship felt very personal, very personal. So with that I felt comfortable. There was no hard sell, they were very, very patient. When they first introduced the equipment to me, I was very engaging and said, come in, show me the equipment, show me what it does. And basically, that's not for me, that's not my market. It ate away at me. So very gently they kept interacting and showing us products and showing us samples, but they understood where I was in the marketplace, and they also understood where I needed to be. They're always informative, they react within 24 hours, they have a great empathy for your growth and your growth aspirations. So I just found that they've been a real great support arm, but they feel like although they're an exterior company, they feel like they're working within our company, they're inner quality, and that's very rare in relationships.